Like I think the Sugar Bear, the VV manager, was thinking like, are you asking what Murder's strategy is gonna be? But no, it is gonna be Bio versus Murder here on MLG Metalopolis, a Terran versus Zerg. So the first three games of Wednesday Night StarCraft has been TVZ, and we'll see what how this particular version does come underway as we see Murder spawning as the purple Terran at the 6 o'clock position. Meanwhile, on the north side of the map, we see Bio spawning as the yellow Zerg at the 12 o'clock position.
You should be able to see that yellow on purple. I know a lot of times you make comments about how certain colors are tough to see on creep, but that yellow definitely pops on creep.
Yeah, just a shout out and a thank you to Bio for choosing yellow. Sometimes when it's like purple on purple, you're like, you know what? I'm not colorblind, but it's kind of difficult.
Aw, it'll be all right.
It will be.
I like I like yellow and orange. They definitely pop a little bit. But yeah, getting into this one, we will have Bio. We'll know exactly where his opponent is right away, as he's going to be scouting here. He's not going to see that command center. So once again, we're going to have cross positions. So are we going to see another half-hour game, Crota?
I don't know. I hope. I like log macro games, but if every game is a log macro game, I don't know if I have 4.5 hours to cast 7 games of Wednesday Night StarCraft, and I definitely know that my hard drive can't take it all. So we'll see what's going to happen here as Murder is doing a quick check. And now Murder pretty much has a good idea of where Bio has spawned as well, as he is now going into that 13 refinery. So it is going to be that standard 10, 12, 13 play coming in from Murder. Meanwhile, as Bio is looking to go for that 16 or 15 hatchery, depending on how you like to count your numbers before or after the drone is sacrificed.
Yeah, I think just because the far positions, Bio was able to get out and go for that 16 hatch rather than the 15 hatch. You're able to squeeze out an extra drone or two, and we'll see him probably make an extra drone. Yep, 2 drones before he's going to make his pool as well. So it's going to be a 16 hatch, 17 pool. He apparently likes his economy, and in these positions, can't blame him.
Yeah, definitely can't blame him. We'll see what Murder is going to try to go for, as we do see a gas block coming in from Bio. I don't know if Bio was actually watching game 2, but I don't believe Murder actually harvested or used that second gas all too much. So we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, we'll see whether he does the sort of cancel and then remake. Yep, he's going to do that. So he's going to lose 6 minerals every time, but he's going to keep this Marine busy. And Murder is going to make his 1 factory here, probably going to Bio play once again, but you're actually able to get a Marine count here, so you can sort of gauge whether your opponent has gone for any sort of tech labs, and you can definitely shut down certain strategies. He's going to be able to shut down the Crota famous proxy battlecruiser, so he can check that one off of his list, and 2-port Banshee, all those sorts of builds, going to be very difficult working off just 1 gas.
Yeah, and I think all Murder can really do off of this is perhaps try to expand behind it. And I think that's the type of game that Bio actually wants to play. If you do go for that extractor, and you better be ready. Oh, the drone does get taken down, as the SCV could just go ahead and no, it is not going to build a new refinery there. A reactor is being added, and now a Hellion also being trained. So we'll see if he does do a reactor swap, or if he's just going to add a tech lab on that factory.
Yeah, it looks like the command center coming down, so it is going to be that macro game we were talking about. There's going to be 2 Hellions coming out queued up by Murder, so he's going to actually use some Hellions this game. That'll be interesting to see from him. Bio already has a Spine Crawler almost done, and this Spine Crawler is sort of in line with that timing where, the first reactor Hellions would come out. So we talk about players, playing sort of the standard or the current meta game, but Murder really doesn't do that. So the Spine Crawler is going to be done a little bit earlier than necessary. The first Hellion going to come out, but it's not going to be the double Hellion play.
Yeah, so we'll see this one Hellion not going to really be able to do very much at all. You're going to go around the side. A second Spine Crawler now being added. And Murder getting, I guess, 2 sacrifices on drones for Spine Crawlers, even though he's not going for that double Hellion. And we'll see what he follows this up with. He is now training up a 3rd Hellion, but he is going into triple racks. So 3 barracks now being placed down. We see 2 Hellions just hanging around over at that 3rd base. We'll be able to see and know when a drone does make his way over there, as we are going into a Baneling's Nest. So this might be in response to what he saw, or what Bio saw in game 2, knowing that he does need Banelings early perhaps expecting Murder to really favor that bio play.
He does have three Hellions at the moment, so he has this position to stop any sort of creep spread. I'd really like to see Murder be a little bit more smooth with his upgrades this game. We saw he tried to get early upgrades in that last game, at least stim, but then he didn't really keep up with it. He was behind in upgrades on his units, didn't get combat shields until very late, so if he is going to go for this bio play, I'd like to see it be strong bio play, either with a timing attack or, really invest in that late game with just a ton of upgrades.
Yeah, we'll see what Murder is going to be doing here. He is training up a lot of Hellions, and he does have Stim Pack. He is getting up a double Tech Lab with a Reactor, so it's that triple Barracks, able to train up 2 Marines and 2 Marauders every 30 seconds or so. And we'll see what is going to come of this as the Spine Crawlers with that 2 armor really not going to take any real damage from those Hellions, as Hellions do not deal bonus damage to armored units.
What do you think about the decision to get the factory here? I mean, he got it second, so he could create some Hellions, but I mean, all he's really doing is creating 1 Hellion at a time. He could have gotten started a little bit earlier on his upgrades, could have gotten some more bio units out, and it looks like he's not anywhere close to getting a starport to start out the medevac. So a little bit of a strange build getting that factory so early, unless he does something with these Hellions.
Yeah, what I think he's trying to do is, what I'm really actually confused about is why he isn't getting Marauders. Based upon what I see, it really looks like he could go for a 2-base timing here. Hellions are just taking down multiple units, but he needs a way to destroy those Spine Crawlers, and Marauders would be the answer, as he does have double Tech Labs down, but instead he is still only training up 4 Marines at a time, and not really spending his gas. He's already sitting on 300 gas. He's going for the starport now, but it is delayed. And I think if he wanted to engage with that Marine force, he should have perhaps had a couple Marauders in that group as well, and it would be much more effective.
Yeah, now we see a little bit of jousting in the center. I'm not sure either player knows that the armies are afoot in the center, but Murder actually going to hit a pretty decent timing here. He's going to have Stim and Combat Shield. This is exactly what I want to see from him if he's going for this heavy bio play.
Yeah, so here we go. Hellions are now coming in. Marine's going to go ahead and focus down a Queen. 1 Queen now down. Banelings are going to have a bit of a problem as they're now getting up. Banelings are now pushing back as we see that the 1 Overlord has been shot down. The Marines perhaps going to go after the spawning pool, taking down some more Overlords. 3 Overlords now down. No more units will be trained. The spawning pool may get taken down, as well as the drones need to be careful. The drones now need to run away, but the Hellions may catch them out of position. And this is looking really bad. The Marines, the Banelings are in the front. The Marines are now trying to split up. Are they going to be able to split pretty well? They are doing that. And as the drones are all getting destroyed and torched, already 12 worker kills. Harvester count 48 to 46.
Yeah, and taking down that spawning pool pretty big. Bio just now remaking it. A lot of times players will make that spawning pool as soon as it starts to be attacked. The Spire is done though, so he's not going to be able to make any Lings, but he will be able to start Mutas. 3 are on the way, and he's gotten his 3rd up and running. But Murder doing a nice job evening things up in the Harvester count. It is 53 to 48, where he was way far behind before, and he has his 3rd command center, so he is starting his wall with his bunker and his supply depots. He's going to establish his own 3rd and might hit a sort of a secondary timing here, but I love that attack from him.
Yeah, the Zergling of Bio now going to take a look around. The Zergling of Bio already has 1/1 upgrade, so this is going to be a bit of a problem. That's probably reason why the Terran attack force just didn't deal as much damage as I had initially expected or thought. Perhaps if he had controlled his Hellions better, focused down drones. The drones were so clumped together, they were begging to get torched, but it simply didn't happen. And Marine should be jumping in that bunker in just a moment and preventing any Zergling run-bys.
And a drop coming here from Murder. It's going to be picked up, but it's going to be picked off by these Mutas. So now that Mutas are on the field, quite a few, in fact, it looks like 9 are on the field. That's going to control and sort of shut down the drops. So unless Murder sort of finds a roundabout way to these bases, drops are going to be shut down. But one thing you can do with those drops is sort of keep the Mutas at home. Right now, Murder's a little bit late making those missile turrets, so that drop at least bought him a little bit of time, going to keep those Mutas sort of on the defensive rather than being offensive.
Yeah, we'll see there are a lot of missile turrets in the main base, but that is it. Nothing at the natural expansion, and only 1 at the 3rd base right now. Oh, perhaps Murder is expecting that there's enough Marines nearby to really fight this back, as Bio now going and taking up a 4th base. So it is going to be 4 bases to 3. Mutalisk owning the Hellions at the Xel'Naga Tower. And now where are these Mutalisks going to go? Fly into a group of missile turrets? Why not?
Yeah, 1-1 about to finish for Murder, and again, I'd like to see the armory out and 2-2 start right away. Really be a little bit more fluid with his upgrades, rather than, get an upgrade and then just, start one 10 minutes later when you remember about it. So, hopefully he is thinking the same as I am because he's on his three bases. He can't really move out, so he needs to invest in his upgrades for the late game.
Yeah, you can see that the missile turret now going to fight back against the Mutalisk once more, getting in some easy damage. No real kills. But the Mutalisks are in the skies, and they're really unable to do anything at all right now. More Mutalisks are getting added. We are up to 13 Mutalisks. But the Harvester count 74 SCVs, 71 drones. And we'll see what's going to come of this. Armory now being completed. Perhaps using this time to research autosec tracking would have been useful. +1 range, or adding 2 additional armor to those missile turrets, as Mutalisks deal relatively low damage, but do have that chain effect as well.
Yeah, Murder, like I said, was just going to be sort of turtling at this point. He's sending out one lone Marine to do a little bit of scouting. Wants to see whether Bio is on that fourth base or not. He's going to see that he is. So Murder actually a little bit ahead. Now even 159 to 159, they're relatively even on Harvesters as well. 73 to 77, both players have very nice economy established. So we will see another sort of late game here.
Yeah, we will definitely see a crazy late game. Murder just training up a lot of units off of barracks with reactors, meaning he's still favoring that Marine play. Now getting the level 1 weapons upgrade, armor upgrade should be coming in as soon as he gets the gas. And this Bioforce, as it moves out, there's 19 Banelings on the field. Where are they? They need to be able to perhaps find this group here. Siege tanks need to siege. There's going to be a bad engagement. Siege tanks are now sieging. Marines need a split. There comes the Banelings. The Marines are splitting up. And what is going down the siege tanks? Perhaps not getting the necessary damage onto those Marines, as never mind just turning it around, as now Murder gonna get cleaned up in the center.
Yeah, I mean, just not a lot there that the Terran player can do. Siege a little bit late, didn't focus down all the Banelings, and sort of a bad split on a lot of those Marines as well. A little bit slow with his micro, and Bio rocketing ahead 178 to 128, and it feels so good to crush that Terran army like that. He can't push out for several more minutes. You're free to make a round of drones, you're free to get some tech going, and he does have a hive and a second Spire on the way, so we will be seeing some Broodlords from Bio.
Yeah, we're going to see also a command center now trying to make its way in. Marine's going to try to engage over here. Simply too many Zerglings. Siege tank not going to find their units in time. Double siege tanks. Banelings splashing up against this. And Murder is in trouble. Mutalisks are still getting added to this group. 8 more Mutalisks going to be coming online in just a moment. Command center lifting off, trying to fly back towards the missile turret. It looks like the missile turret will fall before the Mutalisks get there. And Murder's command center has been destroyed.
Yeah, Murder in a lot of trouble right now. 115 to 185. We've got the Greater Spire on the way. Just a ton of Lings being rallied out for Bio. So he's going to keep the pressure on. Going to try to keep Murder very low unit count. And Murder is going to be bottled up on these 3 bases. He desperately wants to get that gold up and running so he can get back into this one. But Bio, I think once he gets the Broodlords out, going to be very tough to deal with.
Yeah, especially when you don't see any Vikings yet on the field. Double Spire means that you can upgrade air attack and armor all at the same time. Banelings now being added. 18 Banelings in production. Bio sitting at 184 with still 2,000, or had 2,000 resources, now getting up to 192, and should be able to get one more round of Zerglings before he tries to engage.
And now I sort of see the Hail Mary coming from Murder. He's got this drop coming, but it's going to be cleaned up nicely by Bio. And it looks like, nope, Bio not going to clean it up. Murder paying real close attention there, and drops those units. They would have gone down, but he would have done a lot of damage to those Mutas, but not with these Lings here. So the Lings tanking a lot of damage, and you're going to be able to clean up all of those Marines and the Medivacs. And Murder has been macroing decently back up to 152, but he's still in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, still, he's training up 10 Marines at a time, 3 siege tanks at a time. Perhaps should be going for some Thors and also needs some Vikings. He needs gas. He is harvesting off of all of his gas right now, but not going to be enough, as Marines are going to perhaps be doing a drop. Oh, nope, unable to do so. The Mutalisks able to find that once more. And once you have 20 Mutalisks in the air, you pretty much know that as long as you have decent Overlord positioning, no more drops will really affect you.
Yeah, Murder did have a drop over there. It was able to cancel a base that was building, but that's not as good as taking down one that's already built. 300 minerals instead of the to just portion after the cancel. And now we see Murder being caught once again out of position. The siege tanks are not in siege mode. Those lings just crashing against that wall of tanks. A lot of the banelings do get wasted on the tanks, but those tanks are what Bio needs to be able to handle all the lings and the mutas which are out now.
Yeah, Marines are now looking to do another push out. The Zerglings are now pushing in. The Marines are upgraded 2-2 against the 2-2 Zerglings. It looks like the Mutalisks are going to perhaps try to take this down, but Murder has a small window of opportunity. But there is a Zergling there that is burrowed, and there it is, finally getting cleaned up. Upgrade to a Planetary Fortress. You need double medevacs, but I believe Broodlords should be on the field. Yes, 4 Broodlords already on the field. And with no Vikings, perhaps Bio is simply waiting for a couple more Broodlords before he finally engages.
Well, I'm not sure what he's waiting for, because he's got these Broodlords. Okay, now he's finally moving them. He had them not moving there in his natural for several minutes, and now he's finally coming out with more Corruptors. So he's on board with you, Crota. He's going to come out with a few more Broodlords, and when you hit with Broodlords, you really want to hit with like between 7 to 10, like a number that your Terran opponent and your Protoss opponent just cannot deal with. If you come with 2 or 3, they can be focused down. A few Vikings can take them down, but if you start coming out with the high numbers of Broodlords, you might have a few taken down, but the rest of them are just going to wreck house.
Yeah, here we go. Four Broodlords now in the air, just dropping those Broodlings, causing problems. Planetary Fortress trying to clean this up, unable to do so. And you can see just this infinite army coming in from the Zerg. Broodlings just always refreshing somehow, and now getting in even more Broodlords, up to 8 in just a moment.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to shut down this gold, and that's something that Murder really needed to keep even in the macro here. Bio has such a bank at the moment that he can really trade efficiently with, or inefficiently with Murder. Doesn't really matter. And now we see a few of these Broodlords are being focused down, but more and more, as you mentioned, are on the way, and they're in a great position here to just eat these Marines alive.
Yeah, the Marines are forced to back off. The Planetary Fortress already up to 45 kills, doing a great job defending itself, but I don't think that these Broodlords can be stopped just quite yet. We need to see more and more units. The Planetary Fortress up to 57, 61 kills. SCVs are attempting to repair. In come some Marines. The Marines should perhaps try to stim around. There are siege tanks off over here. Marines could try to stim up, and now down goes the Planetary Fortress. The Marines taking down many of these units. Banelings now finding their target, and it's now 151 versus 138.
Yeah, but Bio has such a bank, 4,000 and 1,000. He can basically insta-remax anytime he wants with Lings, as long as he's keeping up with his injects. So, yeah, he's got 106 Lings on the way.
All right, we'll see where this is going to go next. Hatcheries do have about 3 or 4 larvae, so he may or may not be keeping up on those injects. Vikings are going to find some Broodlords here as the Zerglings are coming in a single file line. That is not in a good proposition, as the Zerglings now need to swarm in here. Bio up to 180, 190. The Marines now trying to back off the Zerglings, going up against the siege tanks. The Marines trying to finish off the Broodlords. Marines trying to finish off the Broodlords and the Zerglings, as the Vikings going after the Corruptors.
Yeah, and here come the Mutalisks, going to be cleaning up those Vikings, and might be GG here from Murder shortly. Bio can just sort of remax on Lings. Actually, it looks like he's going to be going for more Broodlords, and then sort of push in. Murder going to do his best to scrounge an army together here, and landing at that gold once again. If at first you don't succeed, try again, I suppose.
Yeah, we are now already up to 13 additional Corruptors now being added. Broodlords are in the skies. There's only 3 of them, however. More Corruptors being added to this group. The Mutalisks is going to finish off these SCVs here. And even with the Marines and the Vikings, it's not going to be enough, especially with those Broodlords with that very long range. 1 Broodlord at a time may fall if it does actually get focused down. 1 Broodlord looks like it will go down. A second Broodlord getting into the red. Both sides fighting it out. The Marines are upgraded 3-3 finally. But is it going to be enough, as the Broodlords will soon be 3-3 as well?
Yeah, Murder 102 against the 180 of Bio. He has cut into Bio's bank a little bit, and he has a bit of bank of his own, but it is only in gas and not in those precious marine minerals. But he has been able to establish this gold. Again, he has the Planetary Fortress up and running and all these mules down. So, see, Murder actually has he's quite a deficit harvesters as well. Yeah, he's going to be tough to come back in this one.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen here. All Murder really just needs to exchange very, very well. If he can continue to exchange very well, perhaps he can get into that situation where he does split the army east versus west, or north versus south, depending on how you look at the map. But the planetary fortress is going to get taken down too quickly. The broodlings are also upgraded 3-3. Planetary fortress doesn't have any bonus armor, as we now see Marines attempting to run away from the rest of this group. Marines getting up onto the high ground. Corruptors going after Vikings. Marines are all on a nice choke ramp, getting in a lot of kills. But more Corruptors once again morphing into Broodlords. And somehow Murder is still hanging on, but only by a hair.
Yeah, 14 Broodlords can be on the field shortly here, and Murder has established that goal, but is under siege once again by these Broodlords with that 9.5 range. It's just silly. They can attack from so far away. And in come the Lings, going to clean up all the tanks here as well, and Murder basically going to be reset down to 65 food, and basically streaming units in one at a time here. Loses the gold again. He is mined out in all of his bases right now. He's not mining at all. 0 income. And there's the GJ.